is. All right. Hi, Craig. All right. People were giving Craig a lot of shit on Twitter today for some reason. Don't like
Really?
Craig. Yeah. Go figure.
Twitter
Poor
doesn't
Craig.
really like anybody except for Betty White.
That is true. I can't stand Betty White.
Oh,
What?
nothing.
She
I couldn't think of
infuriates.
something.
She infuriates. She's the bacon of celebrities. It's just she drives me insane.
Bacon.
Okay. Yeah, just this. Yeah, no, never mind. Let's stay focused here. Muscovy is a tiny village nestled in a secluded valley somewhere in the north of England. Just a little too far from the closest railway line to become a commuter hub, and with a tendency to get snowed in during the winter, the village has struggled to survive in recent decades, as families have moved out to find more comfortable and lucrative lives away from the land of their lives. The village school was the first to close, followed by the cottage hospital, now a gift shop, and then the post office cum general store, which these days functions as Lucy's tea shop. At least the bright red post box is still mounted on the wall, so the tourists have somewhere to deposit their postcards. Determined to develop the area's potential and ease congestion in the surrounding national parks, the local council has spent the last 2 summers improving the roads into the valley and establishing hiking routes through the hills and woods to link up with the region's other more prestigious natural attractions. As a result, many of the houses in Muscovy now belong to absentee landlords who rent them out to visitors during the summer months. Only 1 or 2 of the old village families remain. Their houses are easy enough to spot. They all look like they could do with a decent helping of tender, loving care as far as the local real estate agents are concerned. However, there's a fly in the council's redevelopment ointment. Muscovy has never not had a rat catcher. His dingy cottage stands at the end of a lane above the village and backs out onto the woods beyond. Indeed, the rat catcher's trade is proudly displayed for all to see. Despite the council's best efforts to route tourists away from his cottage, they always seem to end up wandering through the woods behind it as a shortcut from the official footpaths to Muscovy and its picturesque Anglo-Saxon church. The council received numerous complaints from property agents on behalf of their clients, and no one was quite sure what to do about them. That is until the rat catcher, known locally as Old Gertine, was run over by a trio of visiting cyclists one morning, just over a month ago. According to the cyclists, the old man suddenly appeared out of the hedgerow and stumbled into their path, carrying nothing but a large sackful of dead rats. Thanking their lucky stars, the council believes they have been presented with the perfect opportunity to go in and clean up the cottage while old Gertine is in hospital. And they have employed the services of a cleaning company to remove the general rubbish from old Gertine's cottage, outbuildings, and the woods adjacent to the property. Once the cleaners have cleared the residence, the council's workmen will come in to make the necessary repairs to the property. And so we begin with you driving down the road towards Muscovy. The road leading to the village is fairly new, but the route through the steep hills as it wends its way up to the village is an ancient one. Once through the pass and over the crest of the hill, the village can be seen laid out in the valley below, although it's hard to make out too many details through the steadily falling drizzle. A rather oversized parking lot, also new, marks the entrance to the village, and a single main road snakes up through a cluster of houses that form the village before petering out into little more than a lane as it nears the woods on the far side of the valley. A small church squats in the middle of what appears to be a field about half a mile from the main village. It's late summer when you arrive, almost the end of the holiday season, and only a few cars sit quietly in the parking lot as you drive past. You can either You can either pull in or continue on your way. I will tell you that you have been given directions to the cottage, and the council also provided you with a front door key. But you're free to do anything you want at this point.
Well, as much as I'd like to stop by the pub, I think we can just get on about it.
Yep. And okay, let's drive up there then, and we can have a pint on the way back.
Or two.
Or three.
Now, you're playing Paul,
Yes,
correct, Jenny?
I am.
And how much does your company normally charge for a cleanup job, for a site cleanup?
For a site cleanup, for a rundown cottage such as this one, I'm going to say $750.
750?
Yep.
And in this case, the council
Mm-hmm.
offered you £15,000 for the cleanup operation.
Well, clearly because of my travel expenses, I had to double that rate.
Yeah. From 750 to £15,000, not
Yes.
1,500.
That's significant.
Wait a minute,
That's-
15,000.
Yes, 15,000.
Wow, I am really undercutting myself. I mean, the 3-bedroom apartment in Chicago costs like $130 to clean. So, okay, 15,000 it is. Fantastic.
And why are this documentary crew with you?
We use a very specialized chemical in our cleaning that sets us above the rest, and so the documentary crew is seeing how this works because it is revolutionary.
Okay, fair enough.
My cleaning agent is revolutionary.
All right.
They're from I don't know, Science Illustrated TV.
So I assume that you're here to basically do an initial appraisal of the property, seeing as the rest of your cleaning crew aren't here,
Correct.
and they're just going to arrive tomorrow,
Yes.
and you're going to get on with that then. Okay.
Yes, I'm just
And
going to
then
do the
the-
initial pass now.
And so I assume, and who are the film crew? Can you introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Tom Chambers, and I with that I take a swig from my hip flask. Here, what else is there?
And are
Usually you
you're-
do ghost hunting shows, but I guess I'm doing a cleaning show. And I'll take
Take
another
them-
swig from my flask.
Have you heard something about this property that I haven't, Mr. Chambers?
I don't know.
I
No, I
assume,
actually got fired from my last job, so this is hopefully a chance to find some more regular employees.
Okay.
So, a very attractive young lady, like, sort of timidly waves her hand at you. Hi, I'm Ellie. And my boss told me that this was going to be like the next The Office, and I really wanted to be a part of something, that important.
Cleaners, the next office. Yeah.
I mean,
Cleaners.
it's a snapshot into everyday life. A life imitates art, and art imitates life, and
Tom takes another swig from his flask.
And he does.
I look at
Okay.
you very nervously.
Paul stares in complete bewilderment at this young lady.
Okay, so you've all elected to just continue to just drive directly to the cottage, correct?
Yes, with
Yes,
all our
please.
different ideas of
Okay,
what we're doing
so-
there.
Okay, so you you trundle along gently up the main road through the village, passing the tea shop, and then you pass the pub, which is known as the Ratcatcher's Arms, and the pub looks decidedly shuttered and
Oh.
closed down.
Aw.
Oh.
And,
I am Snapchatting all of this.
actually, you do have cell phones. You are at the bottom of a valley, and unfortunately, your signal is very, very sporadic.
Oh, then I just switch to like my normal camera and I'll upload it later.
All right. Okay. And then you drive past the school, which is also closed, and the gift shop, which amazingly enough also appears to be just shuttered up and closed.
Huh.
And then the road narrows, and you drive out of the village towards the woods, and to the right you can see what appears to be amongst the trees, some yew trees, an old Anglo-Saxon church, probably around maybe 6th, 7th century. And then the road winds its way onward.
It's so old. It was. I mean, I say out loud. I wonder if it was built in like the 1970s.
How old is Ellie?
Like 22.
Oh God. Okay. I should have read these character sheets. Yeah.
Paul rolls his eyes as he is driving, but remains silent.
Oh yeah, because he knows everything. Okay, and so you eventually the road just becomes so narrow that it's basically just a little dirt laneway, and you find yourself before old Gertine's cottage, and it's perched at the end of the lane from the village and backs up against the woods. And from the outside, it's a single-story cottage, and it doesn't look like it much doing to it at all. So the front garden's a little overgrown, but the white wooden gate's in good repair, and the hedges were obviously trimmed just a couple of months back. A short front path leads up to a whitewashed step, dark green front door. And I do have another map.
Oh. I am now very suspicious as to why the council is paying £15,000 for cleaning this already fairly clean place. So I'm a bit disturbed as to what the inside might look like.
You could use the money, though, correct?
I could absolutely use the money, so I'm not going to turn that down.
Hey, Katie,
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
would you mind throwing another bottle in the warmer?
I would love to do that.
Thank you. Sorry, guys.
you're fine.
He sounds really adorable. So
He does.
Yeah. Ellie has a really strange choice of ringtone on her phone. It sounds like a baby cooing, and you don't know why.
That's a nice hedge you got there, old Gertine.
So, I mean, does this actually look like the size of what you would normally call a cottage, or does it seem bigger than that?
No, it's no, that's about right. It does seem a little bit bigger, but depends on what the square footage is.
I mean, it's got a courtyard.
Yeah. Like
You're
this-
reading too much into courtyard. Not as grandiose as it sounds.
Like back alley.
Hmm.
Okay, well, shall we go in and see what's going on?
So
or
where are
shall
you now? You're in the front? You're in the front garden?
We're in the front.
I would
yeah.
say we're probably outside the front garden.
Yep, parking.
Yeah, that's probably the last place we can park our cars, somewhere right
Well,
outside that front
well,
garden entrance there,
right-
right?
Yeah. the rain has stopped, and it's just quite a calm, still morning. About
Mhm.
maybe 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
As soon as we park, Ellie moves at surprising speed to get her gear out of the back. And the phone goes away, and she starts loading up gear with purpose.
Okay.
Oh. Efficient.
Yep.
All right. So I take my work bag from the back, has samples of my amazing cleaning agent, and obviously a notepad to take notes on. It's at old school.
And you have the key to the cottage. It was
I
provided
have
to
the
you by the
key.
council.
I have the key. So I wait till Ellie is finished with her gear.
Mhm. I would imagine that she tries to go ahead and outfit you with a pack. So she would go
Okay.
ahead and do that. Yeah.
Well, I'll before you do that, let me just sort of put my protective clothing on here.
Okay. Oh, good idea.
My work person's coveralls, and take my cleaning equipment bag, and you can pin that mic on. Tom, are you ready?
Getting all this, Tom?
Yeah, I get out my protective clothing. I make sure to move my flask to the outside of the protective clothing.
Priorities.
And I silently, probably while smoking a cigarette, get my camera stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Well,
Ellie was wearing her coveralls already.
Well, let's go see what this looks like inside. I don't think there will be any smoking inside the cottage, so if you could put that out, please.
Yeah.
Flammable chemicals.
I put it out.
Thank you. You can keep
Did
your
you
hip flask, though.
Did you just put it on the ground, or did you where did you put it out?
In the driveway.
Ellie goes behind you and picks it up and goes and finds a trash can to throw it away.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Is everybody ready to enter the house now? And
Absolutely.
I turn the key in the lock.
Okay.
And
the door opens, and you find yourself in a hallway. And the hallway is just got a side table in there.
Mhm.
And but it's otherwise the side table's just empty. It's got like a crocheted lace doily on it that's kind of yellowed with age. And then the hallway is adorned with various faded prints that look like they just have like local scenes, rustic buildings.
Yeah, so I get
landscape
a nice establishing shot of the doily, and then I slowly zoom out to catch the entire hallway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that looks like some of the local artwork here on the hallway.
You do know there's no junk mail or mail lying in the hallway by the letterbox, which strikes you as a bit odd for a house that's been for a month.
I wonder. It seems that somebody's been here.
And so,
does it look messy?
Well, no, but there's no. It looks a little suspiciously tidy.
The hallway looks. I mean, it looks quite dusty, and that people haven't cleaned or painted it in a long time. But other than that, no, there's nothing horrendously. It's not like some kind of hoarder's hallway. And to the right of you is the entrance to a parlor, and to the left of you is a entrance to the dining room. And then the corridor continues ahead of you down, and then tees off into another corridor.
Well, I think we should start in the parlor, since that is the receiving room of the house. May as well start at the beginning.
Okay. And
A
so
very good place to start.
You go into the parlor, And there's a tiled fireplace set into the outside wall opposite the room's doorway. And there's a large mirror in a heavy gilt frame hanging above it with a single photograph in a really ugly frame sits on the mantelpiece. And it shows a couple in 1950s era clothing standing behind a young boy of around 7 or 8 years of age. Along another wall in the room, there is a white leather sofa covered with a fake tiger skin rug and 2 matching armchairs. And the other furniture in the room consists of a bookcase against the wall opposite the window, which is covered in china ornaments and pieces of crystal, and a low glass coffee table in front of the sofa on which rests a huge black leather-bound book. Of course.
I'm gonna say, hey, Emmy, look at that picture there from the 80s, and I'll wink at Paul.
And while she's doing that, I'll look at the book. But go to Ellie first.
When you look at the photo and you assume by the date of it and whatever that the boy is probably this old Gertine. The 2 adults are most likely his parents.
Oh, that's so cute.
And so Paul examines the book, and examining the book on the table reveals it to be the Gertine family Bible.
Oh.
There's a detailed family tree drawn across several pages that traces the family back to the turn of the 19th century. And
are there any inscription? Any?
Yeah, there are. There are several like charming little pencil sketches of people who must be old Gertine's ancestors. And you see when you go down through the family tree, you see his name is Gilbert Oswin Gertine. He's the most recent one in the family tree, and he was born in 1945. 45.
1945.
Yeah, so that would make him. We're going to say it's 2019 because 2020 sucks.
Right.
So this is 2019, and you're in England having fun. And so he's a 74-year-old man.
Okay.
And so carefully paging through the Bible, there's like several pressed flowers, which are faded with locks of hair. And then, so a few pages have been marked with strips of ribbon. And then, it's that one of the Bible quotes has been singled out, and it is from the book of Samuel. And I can give it to you here, and I'll give you a read. And when you read it, it says, "And the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, What shall we do to the ark of the Lord? Tell us wherewith we shall send it to this place. And they said, If ye send away the ark of the God of Israel, send it not empty, but in any wise return him a trespass offering. Then ye shall be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you. Then said they, What shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden emerods and 5 golden rats, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all, and on your lords. Wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods and images of your rats that mar the land, and ye shall give glory unto the God of Israel. Peradventure he will lighten his hand from off you, and from off your gods, from off your land."
So at this point, Ellie would have ended up like sort of reading over your shoulder. She would have gotten distracted with the picture, and she would have been reading some of that passage. And she said, the Old Testament was never exactly my favorite. Definitely much more of a New Testament girl myself. Samuel just not my favorite book.
Any questions?
Let's see, 5 golden rats. Obviously, the word rats would jump out since he's a rat catcher. That's kind of obvious. But
Again, the room is you know, while the decor leaves something to be desired, unless you're into white leather couches, fake tiger skins. It's the room's fine. There's nothing that requires cleaning in it.
No.
So based on my religious background, would I know what an emerald is?
Oh, don't ask me that, Katie. I don't know what an emerald is.
Okay, I was gonna Google it, and I didn't want to cheat.
Is it like a lynx? I don't know. I don't know what an emerald is. Let's Google
I'll figure it. Yeah, I'll do it right now.
It's not pertinent to the story, so
exactly. That's fine. I was like trying to figure out if I need to look. Whoa.
Emerald's an archaic form for hemorrhoids.
Yes.
Wow.
Wait.
God was easily pleased back then. Yeah. Worship me. Just give me dead rats and hemorrhoids.
Tumors.
Tumors and disease.
Yes, it's disease.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The one I presented, the passage I presented was King James.
Okay. So, cool.
Depends which Bible you take.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're still in the parlor.
I want to know what
I'm gonna check the fireplace.
Okay.
You always check the fireplace because there's always gold in there.
Maybe some gold emeralds.
There's nothing remarkable at the fireplace in any way.
Does it look like it's been used recently? Like in the last several weeks, or?
No. I mean, it looks like it's in regular use, but hasn't been. I mean, it's in good repair and such. But
okay.
So the passage in the Bible, like, so was it just marked with like a bookmark, or like, is it?
Yeah, it was just marked with a bookmark.
Okay, I'm curious, like, from the are the pages of the Bible still like intact, or can you see like the wear and tear, like my grandmother's Bible, where she put her hand on it every day, the pages were almost completely translucent?
Well, they're quite worn and stuff, but it's obviously it's a well-loved family heirloom, so it's it's taken as care of as much as it can be. But it's an old book. It's at least 100 years very old.
Wow. Okay.
How about the bookshelf? Shall we check out the bookshelf and the crystal and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. The bookshelf has some kind of kind of cheap Polish crystals, really tacky Hummel knockoff ornaments, and the odd nothing that you would you couldn't see in any working class English home. It's a very it's a lot kind of very kind of like 1970s hat.
Well, shall we take a look at the other front room here, which I think you said was
dining room?
Yeah, the dining room.
All right. Yeah, the room opposite the parlor, which is the dining room, shows more recent activity than the parlor. There's a sturdy, old-fashioned table in the center of the room, and it's covered with scrapbooks and stacks of newspapers and magazines. There's a pair of scissors, a pot of some dried up, rather foul-smelling glue, and a brush, which is it's just stiff as a board with dried adhesive, and that's lying between the various piles of newspapers and magazines.
Are we talking like rubber cement, like using that to adhere it, or are we talking Mod Podge?
No, you're talking just like rubber cement.
Gotcha.
And then the wall above the fireplace, and the fireplace is just the twin of the one that was in the parlor, exactly the same. And above it, there's a painting of a green man, which I'm probably going to have to explain to you guys here.
I mean, is it Green Man?
Like the little carved gargoyle looking things in
Yes.
the old churches. Yeah.
Yes.
We played
Yes.
D&D. We all know the Green Man.
I don't need to explain it to you. Okay, yeah, it's a painting of a green man.
That's
Are
super
you
cool.
familiar with a green man, Jenny?
A little, but you might have to explain it to me.
I
I'm
shall.
from
I
a family
shall.
of Darwinists.
I shall. Where are we? The Green Man, originally known as foliate heads, until Julia, Lady Raglan, renamed them in her article "The Green Man in Church Architecture," published in 1930. The true roots of these leafy faces are uncertain, although predominantly thought of as a European phenomenon with its heyday between the 12th and 15th centuries. Far older examples from the Middle East and Asia, possibly dating back to at least 300 BC, are also known. Frequently found on stone carvings in churches and other ecclesiastical buildings, there's no one defining style of Green Man. Some have faces made entirely of leaves, whereas others have only their hair, eyebrows, and beards depicted as foliage. Some are seen to spew vines and branches from their mouths, eyes, or nostrils. These are called uttering or disgorging heads, a form particularly popular in Britain, whereas others do no such thing. Just what the Green Man represents is as ambiguous as its appearance. It may be a pagan nature spirit or god co-opted by Christianity, or a symbol of fertility, death, and/or rebirth, or just a purely decorative feature akin to a gargoyle or a grotesque.
Mm.
So I'll give you that, and I can also, because I've got stuff for you, give you examples of them.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay, yes,
What they
I do
look
know it. I do know what those are then. Yes.
So, where was I? So, on the wall above the fireplace is a painting of a green man, and the style's relatively crude but effective. And it's rendered in various shades of green. The eyes and smile are just a little bit unsettling.
Hmm.
I'll make sure to get a good shot of that for the B reel.
Yeah, and then along one wall there's a sideboard and photo albums lying.
I would look at the materials on the scrapbooking table.
Okay, so
Do the papers and magazines articles have any sort of rhyme or reason, or
well, they do. So Tom flicks through the scrapbooks, and it's a huge collection of articles and pictures of rats and mice and gerbils, and mixed in with just clippings of fairy stories and fiction, and scientific articles, adverts for various types of poisons and traps, and it's clippings that go back. Some of these binders, the folders and stuff, go back decades, and some of the oldest ones are annotated with a child's handwriting. The
this
scrapbooks
guy's
also can
really into his work.
scrapbooks. That's like generations of them. The scrapbooks also contain numerous drawings of rodents and designs for traps. And then interspersed between all of these are the occasional pictures of Green Man or Green Men, and a few associated stories and articles. Although they're much purer in nature, it's nearly all about rats and mice, rodents in general. Yeah, as you said, he's clearly very much into his
Yes,
work.
it seems so.
Do any of you said there were some sideboards
Yeah,
around
the
the room,
sideboard with some photograph albums on there.
but nothing that looks like a liquor cabinet or a bar in the room?
No, there is
Okay.
not.
Is there in all those scrapbooks, like did he make annotations, or was he just copying, or does he just clipping and pasting?
There's just they're just annotations, but they're very he has a very small, scratchy hand, so it's very very difficult to read. You can't really make out what any of them are about.
Okay.
There's nothing. There's no great revelation.
Okay.
Okay.
did you want to look at those photo albums or
Yes.
We could
Cyborg?
brush through them a little, yes.
Yeah. Okay. You go through it, and again, there's nothing remarkable. There's some images that are maybe from before the Second World War, but almost all of the photographs in the albums are from 60s and 70s, going by the fashion. And also every single one of them appears to be like taken in the village or the valley. And yeah, there's nothing. There doesn't seem to be anything from like the last 20 years.
Does it look like? I mean, is it like? Are there any pictures of Gertine, or is it just like pictures of the village?
There are pictures of Gertine and pictures of like his parents and they always just seem to be the three of them or whatever. And then as you get further into the one of the albums, there's just one of him and his mother, and then after that there's no other pictures.
But
So
there's
they go up,
never
they
any
go
other
up to
person.
about nobody of any great interest. Some
Okay.
some of the older pictures have like people from the village and whatever, but
Okay.
I'm guessing being a rat catcher is not people aren't seeking out your company too much. But
I'd hang out with the rat catcher, but
You'd
Yeah.
probably have a drink with him. Okay. Is there anything else of interest in here, Ellie?
Not that I can see. I just wanted to, see the pictures. Thank you.
yeah.
What is the state of cleanliness of the room?
Well, there's some cut up newspapers and there's some piles of magazines and stuff on the table, but everything else seems quite neat. The mantelpiece, the fireplace is clean again. The the painting hanging above it seems well maintained. The room well maintained.
All right. Well, now I'm really suspicious as to why they're paying me so much for this, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Not gonna
I mean,
look
I might actually say, like, are the houses you clean usually already clean
They're-
when you get there?
No, as a matter of fact, they're usually in huge amounts of disarray. It's just hoarders or people just haven't maintained the house. This looks very well maintained.
Yeah. I mean, my mom always, like, she never liked to have anybody come into the house to clean without it already being clean ahead of time because she was super, super vain. And I mean, but I don't think a rat catcher would care.
You're probably right. Shall we look in some of the other rooms? Has Tom found the bar yet?
no, not yet.
I know. It's sad, isn't it?
We'll keep looking. I haven't emptied my flask yet.
Ah,
Well, that's a relief.
well, it's good because
Right.
pub's closed up.
Yep.
Okay, so shall we walk on down the hall?
Yeah. Should we take that left bedroom?
Sure.
9.
Number 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The bedroom behind the dining room appears to be old Gertine's room. The wardrobe and drawers. It's got a wardrobe and a chest of drawers, and there's piles of old paperbacks stacked beside a single bed, and the single bed has like a dingy green candlewick bedspread. Candlewick is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with candlewick. See a kind
No.
of chenille type pattern,
Okay.
type thing. That's about it. There's a single bed. There's a wardrobe. Piles of old paperbacks by the bed on the floor. And
What are in the piles of books?
well, as you go through, it seems to be evenly split between romance novels and and westerns.
Interesting.
These are the exact same kinds of books that my grandma used to read.
I lift up the corner of the mattress. Is there pornography under the mattress?
No, sorry, Tom.
Oh,
So,
just wondering.
you notice that most of the paperbacks are ex-library books from Appleford Library, and Appleford being the market town, which is just a couple of valleys over, where most of the people from Muscogee have moved.
Like,
as
are
there's
they
more
actually like
employment
checked out from the library, or like the discards from the library?
there. They're discards.
Okay.
They're all ex-library.
Well, nothing to see here.
What about the wardrobe?
Okay.
Oh, the wardrobe.
You check the wardrobe, but the wardrobe and the drawers just contain well-worn, heavily patched up clothes.
Neatly folded or no?
As they're manly folded.
Manly folded.
Okay.
As best as he could do. Can I get
Okay,
a
check out the
can I
sitting room.
get a can I get a spot hidden roll?
Yep.
From
From
all of us,
everybody,
or
or
Yes, from everybody.
okay.
so you just roll 2d10.
Yep.
Roll 2d10.
Yep.
I have to find spot hidden on here.
It's an 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume your spot hidden is 25. What is it? Oh, actually, it's probably better than that.
You said that the second die was the percentile die?
Yours is a 97.
Oh yeah, I don't see anything.
But Paul has managed to. Paul notices that there's a small hatch in the hall ceiling
An attic.
just outside.
Hey, there's a small hatch in the whole ceiling.
Thanks, Tom. Let's pull
yeah,
that hatch
it is.
down.
It's out of reach. You're probably gonna need a ladder to get up there.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to find a ladder somewhere.
Okay.
Can I get a chair from the dining room?
Why
Can we
not?
stand on the bed?
Yes. Well, he'd have to drag the bed over because this is in the hallway outside of the room.
Oh, okay.
But a chair from the dining room will work. That
Okay.
will work. So Tom goes and gets a chair from the dining room. And who's going up? Is Tom going up?
I'll go up.
Yeah.
Okay, both of you are going up. Okay, so you both go up, and you opening the hatch releases a cloud of dust straight into your face. And the hatch is only wide enough to permit one person at a time. So,
I'll go first.
all right.
All right.
And
What
do you have
see,
a?
Tom?
Do you have a flashlight?
I have
I
a
do.
cell phone with a cracked screen. I suppose I could use a
Okay.
flashlight.
That'll do it.
I got a smartphone.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you turn on your phones, and they cast beams of light through the dusty attic, and it's a cold, shadowy space, and stretches across the whole length and breadth of the cottage. But you can only stand up fully along the center where the roof's at its highest. And as you cast your light around, you see like a hot water tank and numerous old tea chests and suitcases and piles of old newspapers.
But again, a normal messy attic.
Yes,
Exceptionally-
there is no floor. There's just joists.
2x4s and insulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to be quite careful if you're going to go and look at the chests or suitcases. I will need a dexterity roll, a dex roll from whoever's going to do it.
I'll try to go over there. That would seem
Okay,
like
if you
something I would do.
if you do
70.
fail, you may end up
Breaking your neck.
Only one way to find out.
only one way to find out.
Okay. I've got a 70 dexterity, so if you bite it, I'll try.
Okay. 2D. And my dex is... Hold on, let me find it here.
Your dex
Where-
is 60.
My dex is 6,
Yes, 60.
so I failed that pretty miserably.
Oh, actually, and you need when we use this, I'm gonna have you roll again
Uh-huh.
because you need to
Okay.
roll. It needs to be roll 1d10 plus 1d10
Oh, sorry.
because otherwise it does them in descent. It gives the result in descending order. So
One
you get a free roll out of it.
D10 plus
D10.
D10. Still fail.
No, you didn't. Well, that's a 27. What's your dex?
60.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Not
Because you
only
have to
Okay.
get less than the score, right?
Yeah, yes, you do.
Okay.
So not only is 27 a success, 27 is a very good success because it is less than half of your.
Mm-hmm.
So
Shockingly nimble for my
yeah, so
overweight.
you nimbly step between the or along the joist as opposed to between them. So and you get to examine the tea chests. And the tea chests just have old toys, children's toys, and books. And then the suitcases, just various pieces of children's clothing from different ages, and a very nice suit and a wedding dress that's carefully wrapped in tissue paper, and a small album of wedding photographs that presumably are of Gertine's parents. And there's little else of interest up here.
Okay. Let's say it seems like a normal attic.
Is it normal to have a hot water heater in the attic?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We had a hot press in my parents. It was on the it was on the second floor landing. That's where our hot water tank.
Well, okay, yeah, I wouldn't think too
And
much
then our
of it.
cold water tank was in the
Mm.
Okay. So the attic is clear.
All right.
I believe you still have another bedroom in there.
We got another bedroom. We've got the sitting room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, right now you're between Gertine's bedroom and the sitting room. So I mean, it's up to yourselves where you want to. Obviously,
Sitting room.
you just want to go into the sitting room.
Yep, we just
Parlor and
if
the
we're
sitting
between
room.
Gertine's bedroom and the sitting room, that'd be the next place to go.
Yeah. So this is a far less formal place to sit of an evening after Gertine did his work. There's no television, just an old radio, and very much an analog radio, and a small turntable, beside which there's stacked a pile of LP records and singles. Even there's some 78s.
Ellie does start immediately looking at the records in the 78s, and she wants to know what kind of a record collection he has.
There is, like the photographs in the dining room, there is little in the record collection past the late 1970s.
Hmm.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, this I think Ellie would actually recognize some of that.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of some country music, and there's some Charlie Pride in there, but then there's some comedy records too from like Morecambe and Wise, and some British comedians and stuff. And
Cool.
yeah, hey, there's even a Cat Stevens album.
Yeah, I mean, she's nodding and like, yeah.
Yeah. Then there's some bookshelves again with more romance novels and westerns. And then there's some other books on carpentry and DIY and some cookbooks.
Are there any like actual albums of note, like anything that someone who with like any sort of knowledge about music would be impressed by?
No. Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Quite the opposite.
Okay.
It's very, very much popular, very popular hits kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Well, popular hits pay the bills.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Is it worth doing a spot hidden in here?
You don't find anything of.
Okay. Next bedroom?
And again,
Or is
I
Ellie?
will point out that apart from being like tatty and whatever, the room like himself quite clean.
Well, this is becoming kind of a bust for my.
Are you terrified yet?
This is
We're gonna find.
this is not going very well.
You're gonna find a room that's really dirty.
What does it sound like in here, by the way? Like, have we heard anything? Is it like eerily quiet? Are there normal, like, what am I noticing, like, just sound wise?
It's a good question. As I said earlier, when the rain stopped, that it's quite a still summer's morning, probably
Okay.
about 11 o'clock now, and
Okay.
no, you can just hear birds singing in the trees in the woods surrounding the house.
Okay. And is there like, am I noticing like through like the sound equipment? Like, I'm assuming that I'm like checking my headphones to check levels and things like that.
Mhm.
Am I hearing anything different through the headphones than what I'm hearing with my actual ears?
You no,
Okay.
you mean within the house? Within the house, because you clearly, if
Mm-hmm.
your sound equipment is going to be much more concentrated within the house. No, you're not hearing anything. You're
Okay.
picking up Paul's microphone clearly, and
Okay.
but no real ambient sound. No, the house is quite quiet.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
You hear creepy music.
Akin to a lullaby box.
Distorted
You-
Charlie Pride.
You hear child's music coming from the attic. No, you don't know. You don't.
And it's like,
No.
peace out, guys. That's weird.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ditch this room unless Ellie's still looking at records.
No, she's seen what she wants to see.
Okay, so you're back out in the hallway between the sitting room and old Gertine's bedroom.
All right. What's the next room?
Well, what have we got? You got a bathroom off there. Then you got another bedroom.
You know, I've been drinking a bit this morning. I got to take a leak.
Okay. Okay, so Tom goes into the bathroom and it's just a white bathroom and spotlessly clean, and it's clearly being like self-installed, but they did an okay job. It's clearly being carved out of the living room next to it, the sitting room that was next to it.
Mm.
They installed a wall and a bathroom. No, it's just a good little bathroom.
Okay, I'll come out and good little bathroom in there.
Well, thanks for the
And then we can move on to the bedroom or whatever we want to move on to next.
Okay. So you go to the other bedroom. This is the bedroom behind the parlor, and this room looks like it's been untouched for decades, much like the parlor. There's twin wardrobes and a double bed, a dressing table with an antique silver vanity set, a brush, mirror, and comb, and some old tubes of lipstick and compacts of pressed powder, which are all cracked and brittle with age. And then there's another old family picture sitting on a bedside table.
Same 3 people?
Yeah.
And it looks like this was the parents' bedroom at one point. Is that what we would infer?
Yeah. You look in the twin wardrobes and one filled
And
with
it appears
men's
that
clothing. The
So
others filled
judging
with
from the pictures,
Yeah.
Judging from the pictures we saw, they've been gone like 20 years,
Yeah, easily.
and this room seems pretty untouched since then.
Yeah.
That's
So,
weird.
Yeah, so dusty but tidy.
Yeah, it's dusty but tidy.
With all the dust, do we see any spots where like the dust is disturbed?
No.
Wow, there is just nothing of interest in this house.
Well, it's really weird that this room has been untouched for the last 20 years, but
Well,
Yeah.
when my brother went off to college, my mom didn't want to touch his room for like a solid year. And it took until like he went and got married and did all that stuff for her to even turn that room into another craft room.
I take a drink from my flask.
I sort of look at Ellie. Don't say anything. Well, let's I don't know. So there's
Let's
just
get an eagle eye view of everything, and then we can come back and look at more specific shit if we need to.
Yeah, I think that's probably good. It's dragging on a bit.
Well, at least we found a room that you can clean. I mean, it's dusting.
Yes, but that's not really deep cleaning. That's more sort of a light turn.
Oh,
Doesn't
Okay.
give us a lot of drama for our program.
No, this is not going. At this point, Paul's getting a little frustrated because none of this is interesting.
maybe the drama is in the friends we made along the way.
Tom finishes off his flask.
Let's go see if there's some beer in the fridge in the kitchen.
All right.
Now you're
Okay.
talking. Now you're talking.
I've got bad news. I've got bad news for you, Cam. The kitchen's
Yeah.
possibly the most outdated room in the whole house. It has a
Oh, yeah?
sturdy old gas cooker, complete with a cast iron kettle, and it looks like it should have been condemned years ago. As does a evil-looking old boiler hidden in the cupboard to one side of the sink. And the view from the sink, there's a window overlooking the woods beyond, but it's obscured by high hedges in the back garden. The hedges at the back are much taller than those at the front. And then there's a pot of just box of matches and stuff lying beside the cooker. Then there are two doors into the kitchen. One to the back garden, and one to a courtyard outside the house. And there's a pair of shoes sitting in a rusting old tray lined with newspapers just inside the door to the courtyard. And then there's a doormat that's just threadbare and has traces of dried mud clinging to it. The only other things to note in the kitchen are the pantry, which is mostly full of cans, many of them just of indeterminate age and content, and an old enamel bread bin with the moldering remains of a bread inside.
Ugh.
And
Ugh.
then the refrigerator tucked underneath one of the benches, and it has a tiny ice box with a very forlorn tray of ice cubes and a sour bottle of milk.
Aw.
Ew.
But it looks like the kitchen has been in use in the last month.
Yeah. You check if you check the date on the bottle of milk, it is from it expired 6 weeks ago.
Dishes in the sink?
No. No, dishes have all been put away in the cupboards.
Okay.
The milk expired 6 weeks ago?
Yes.
And how long ago did Gertine end up in the hospital? Just a few days, right?
No. It was a little over a month ago.
Okay.
Ugh. Well, I mean, the milk itself would be a toxic chemical at this point, but
The
That's the best we've
shoes.
got to go on, huh?
Mhm.
The shoes at the
Yeah.
door, are they like muddy or anything?
Yeah, they have just they're not overly muddy, but they have dried mud
But
on
it's
them.
dried. Okay, cool.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's there. There's no fresh mud on there. And the same with the mat beside them. The mud is quite dry. There's no fresh tracks or anything.
Mm.
So you have two doors, one going directly out to the back garden, and another where the boots are and such leading out into the courtyard.
Mhm.
I kind of want to check out the courtyard.
Okay. Let's look at the courtyard.
Okay. Now it is 8:35. Cam and Katie, what is your time restraint?
We don't have a bedtime.
Okay.
No, the only bad time has been ignored this evening anyway. We're still working on that.
Yeah, I may my limit is probably about 9:15 or so. 9:30.
Okay. Okay. So you open the door. It's like one of these old latch doors, and you go out into the courtyard. And the first thing that strikes you as you enter the courtyard is quite a strong odor of what smells like putrid rotting meat.
Smells like rotting what?
Meat.
Ew.
I pull out a bottle of my peppermint essential oils and I put some on my upper lip right under my nose so that I smell peppermint instead of that.
And I asked
Well,
Ellie if she could pass that over.
unfortunately, Ellie, while you do get a hint of peppermint, the 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 odor of rotting flesh is quite overpowering out here.
My social worker friend told me this would work and it is not cutting it. I just start I hold it under my nose like smelling salts and knowing it's not working. I'm still trying.
So the courtyard's flanked by a L-shaped range of buildings partitioned into several separate areas.
Mhm.
The only other things in the courtyard, it has a gravel bed all around it, and then in one corner there's a small vegetable patch in like the southern corner, and adjacent to it is a compost heap with a big metal pitchfork stuck into it.
Cam just asked if the smell was coming from the compost heap. We just couldn't hear him say it.
No. As you notice, are you going towards the compost heap? Is that where you guys want to check first?
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Okay.
That's where I would go check. Yeah.
Okay. As you go towards the compost heap, you notice that the odor becomes less pronounced. So it seems to be emanating from towards the back of the house.
Back of the house?
I'll walk towards the emanation.
Okay. So you walk through the courtyard and you are in the northwest corner of the courtyard there, where there's another door leading out into the back garden.
So yeah, by like 11, 12, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So are you all going out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, where's the sense of adventure, Ellie?
So you
I'm sniffing my salts.
you come out into you come out into the back garden, and the back garden is surrounded by very very high hedges. The hedges are probably maybe 7 going on 8 feet tall all around here, and behind them you can see the woods, and then you notice that the woods seem to be decorated with bunting. like decorative with decorative bunting is what it appears to be. But you can't really tell from here. But the stench is just overpowering here. It's just much stronger here than even in the courtyard.
I'm gonna look at Paul and say that this seems more your expertise.
The purview, yeah. I'm not even sure where to start with this one. So I have to make a note of this. I'm not going to clean it myself at the moment. This is just a surveying trip.
And then there is
So-
in the middle of the hedge. Then there's another wooden gate that leads into the woods.
Does the hedge back here seem to be in the same state of care as it was out front, just grown much taller, or is it neglected longer and having grown taller?
It is it's much more neglected.
Much more neglected. Okay, cool.
Are the birds still chirping?
Yes.
Huh.
Are there any buzzards circling?
No. But
Okay.
you can hear just the rustling of the leaves in the trees.
So the smell is coming like more toward the woods, or the back of the house. You said.
The smell seems to be emanating from the woods in the back of the house.
Well,
Oof.
something has really died in those woods if it's gotten all the way to this point.
Yeah.
Well, you were contracted to clean the house, not the woods, right?
Correct.
No. The cottage, the outbuildings, and the woods.
What?
Ah,
Where does the contract say that?
Oh, do I have to rewind?
No. Oh God. Okay. Well, I guess that means we have to go in the woods. So we're gonna
Okay.
have to grin and bear it.
So
Okay.
so you open the back gate, and then you go in approximately about 10 feet through the gate in the rear hedge,
Mhm.
and you notice the all of this bunting running between all the branches of the trees. And then on closer examination, you realize that it isn't bunting at all, but instead it's the corpses of
strips of goddamn flesh.
dozens upon dozens of rats and mice
Oh
and
God.
squirrels strung up by their tails from ropes hung between the trees.
Good
Oh
God.
God.
This grisly sight,
Oh my God.
and also all around you, up to about maybe 4 inches deep,
Mhm.
you're standing on just skeletons and decomposing corpses of rodents, and they just go back about 20-30 feet in
Oh,
all
wow.
directions. You're completely surrounded by them. So I am
Ellie
going to need
vomits.
the grisly
vomits.
sight provokes a sanity roll. So I'm going to need a sanity roll from everyone.
Oh jeez,
wow.
yeah.
I'm probably losing my damn mind because
Oh, I've already puked. Come back
1d10 plus 1d10. All
Yep.
right.
That's a 33. That's
Yeah.
probably all right, is it? 96. Oh God.
I don't think I'm
92.
doing well.
I'm good on sanity.
Oh,
Okay.
that probably
Okay.
didn't go well.
You two. Okay. I get to roll for you.
Oh no.
What am I gonna do? Okay, Ellie just throws up. I get to do
Perfect.
I get to do an involuntary action, and then Tom just lets
Yeah.
an involuntary high pitched scream.
I would spare you to say let out an involuntary fart, but
I was thinking that too.
a nice high pitched scream from Tom. I love that. Okay.
And then I get to roll. It's this will be for Tom. So you lose 2 sanity.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
That puts me at 58. That's not a big deal.
No. And then 2 for Ellie.
I'm at 48. Thank you.
And then Paul just loses 1.
Okay.
Just because of the grisly sight, just because of the sheer number of.
Well,
It says the ghastly
I'm surprised I kept my sanity, considering I got to clean this. No
Yeah.
wonder they included the.
You
wood
said you had a wonder chemical.
house.
I'm glad you brought
Seriously.
I'm glad you brought your bag.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
So it
I'm
says
gonna need like triple the cleaners for this.
it says the ghastly decorations extend the width of the house and back another 20 or so feet into the wood.
Ooh. I don't
Okay.
think this is what the
it
book
looks
is
like
telling
you
me.
it looks like you could navigate a route through all of the cadavers, although any attempts to do so are distinctly disconcerting given the baleful glare of rotting eyes suspended at head height and the crunch and squish of tiny bones all
Jesus
around
Christ.
Let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I
So-
don't
I'm
like
about
this.
ready to tell them they can keep their 15,000 damn pounds.
Oh.
Jeez, you guys are tender. But
Well,
I'm gonna get
you guys
as
get
much
strength there, Mr.
I'm gonna get as much footage as I can.
you. Okay.
Yeah, please do. This will be a great. If nothing else, this will be a great.
I am
My note-
clutching my cross and saying prayers.
My notes here say if the investigators are members of the cleaning and film crew, then things have suddenly probably become a lot more interesting for them.
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a bunch of footage.
Yep. And Paul is thinking that clearing that many corpses is going to take a considerable amount of time, effort, and trips to the waste disposal site, which is located just beyond Appleford, which is the market town a couple of
Yep.
valleys up.
Yep, there's going to be. I might have to go to the council and tell them that 15,000 is maybe a little cheap.
Rent a bobcat and
Yep, we're
a dumpster and
we're gonna have to just sort of salt the earth and this is all. Yeah, this is not gonna be fun. So of course Tom is probably enjoying filming Paul's absolutely devastated expression. plenty of close-ups.
I'm imagining, this is a something that's probably going to get me some good footage.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it seems like I'm imagining real Blair Witch type stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay, Ellie's gonna pass out, so we should probably just get back on out of these woods.
Okay, so you go back out, and did you want to just go back into the house, or you want to go and check out the rest of that courtyard, those courtyard buildings?
Oh, let's look at the courtyard buildings.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get some fresh air in one of those, but I doubt it.
You hear Ellie muttering, "I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm a professional. I'm a professional."
Okay. So you want to check out room 11, the outdoor toilet first, or should we just are you just gonna go in order here?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the outdoor toilet. I'll just sort of stick my head in.
Okay. So you just crack open the door and okay.
Well, stand in the doorway. I don't want to go in.
Yeah. It's pretty much it's not very fancy, but it's and the toilet's quite old, and it's basically just built with concrete blocks. But I mean the building, not the toilet. But and then judging by a slightly damp toilet roll that's hanging from a piece of string on the back of the door, it's still in good working order.
Okay, well, that's a toilet.
All right. The room next to it seems like it's a general storeroom. It's got coils of rope and wire hanging neatly from nails in the wall, and then logs stacked tidily beside a couple of stacks of coal.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything of interest in here in the general storeroom?
No, nothing at all. And then the room next to it, probably going to be more your bag. The room next to it appears to be a chemical storage area. This is number
Yep.
13,
Let's
and
go on in there.
it's filled with these wooden shelves with dark brown bottles and metal tins and canisters all arranged neatly on those wooden shelves. The labels are missing from most of the corroding tins and stuff, so God only knows what's in them. I see. Did you? What's your science? Has anybody got a good science in biology or chemistry? Their skill set. I assume you do.
I would assume the science bitch does.
Yeah.
Stupid science bitch couldn't even make I more smarter.
You're good. You're like miles away, Jenny. I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I was leaning over to my sheet, and also Hugo really, really wanted to get on my lap, so that was a little difficult.
Okay.
All right. So chemistry 70.
Okay.
Biology and physics.
Why don't you give me a chemistry roll?
Ooh, that's not so good.
A 98. Oh,
Well,
whatever.
that's
you're an industrial chemist. It's like, why you need to roll? You don't need to roll. Paul's able to identify that it's a mix of various poisons and herbicides, and you also know that, given your knowledge of industrial chemistry and such, that a lot of these bottles and these poisons and stuff have been illegal to even own, let alone use for years.
Well, that's quite valuable. That would be amazing for research purposes. Is there any lime around? Maybe we can get rid of some of these rat corpses.
There is actually. There's there in the other storeroom, the one with the coal.
Yep.
And the wood. Yeah, there's there were a couple of sacks of lime used for whitewashing and such.
Okay, I just wanted to see how many they had.
Yeah, so I would make a note of that. You would have access to some of that. There were only maybe two or three bags, so you weren't going to be able to bury too many corpses with that. But
No.
but however, should we go next?
Yeah, potting shed.
The potting shed. Okay. The potting
Sounds
shed
like
is,
my kind of place.
as you imagine, it's full of plant pots, garden tools, seed
Not
packets.
Plants. Plant pots, not pot plants.
Well, and seed packets and bags of compost and sand. Nothing really remarkable.
Are you sure?
Well, you can do a spot hidden if you want.
Probably not.
Yeah, but, no.
I'll do it.
No, you're not going to find anything. There's nothing in there. It's just a potting shed.
Well, God, was there anything interesting in the cottage at all? It looks like this whole thing has been made for us to go sit in a bunch of
workshop. Let's check out the workshop.
Okay, workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. You go in, and the benches are stacked with tools and what appear to be animal traps of all shapes and sizes.
Oh dear.
Just full of every device under the sun for killing things, all the way up from just small mouse and rat traps, all the way up to rusted man traps hanging by chains from the rafters. And then there's a small forge against the back wall, behind an anvil and a grinding machine. Everything the rat catcher could possibly need to keep his tools and traps in good working order.
Oh, good lord.
He's got like a man trap there. What was he looking for? King Rat? I mean, is there some kind of massive rat boss at the back of the forest?
I hope we get to fight a rat king.
I don't think we're going to be able to.
Is there anything you want to do in this room or look at in this room? Or...
Well,
No.
So you said that the larger hanging traps were rusty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're quite rusted.
okay. Well, they
And
probably
then some of the other traps, do they look like they're in better, more current use?
Well, you want to go take a closer look at them?
I would like to.
Okay, then let's get a look roll from you then.
Okay.
What is your look?
Stand by 1 second here. I'm working on a phone.
Oh, you're fine.
Where is look?
I'm looking right here.
in the kind of the top third of the sheet.
So I rolled a 86, so it probably didn't work out.
Oh no, your look is 50.
All right, I'll give it.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
give it a
just
shot.
under
Yeah.
Katie. It's just under Call of Cthulhu. No, he's looking.
Okay.
So as Tom is looking, he catches one of his cables on the edge of one of the workbenches, and he stumbles over, and he falls to the floor, and he triggers quite a large animal trap.
Oh no!
And so can I get a 1d6 roll from you, Cam?
Sure can.
Oh no!
Tom takes 4 hit points of damage.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh
And
jeez!
he falls to the floor, and catches his arm in a large trap. It's almost like maybe a badger trap, which just snaps down on his wrist. And as he falls and reacts to being hit by that, his leg lashes out and triggers another trap,
Oh my God.
which bites through his boot and cuts into his foot. And so poor Tom is lying bleeding
From many
quite badly.
Can I do like some
on the
first
floor
aid?
on the floor of the courtyard?
Get me out of the damn traps first.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. Can we like get him out of the room first, and then try to get the traps off?
Sure. Okay, you get the traps off, and do you have first aid, Ellie? Let me see.
I do. I have a 30.
Yeah, you could attempt to do some first aid, but
I'll try.
Watch her roll 100 and kill me.
Okay,
I mean, I've rolled really poorly, so let's see what this thing does. 42.
That's a
Oh,
42. So yeah.
Can I try?
Sure, you can.
Okay. So here we
Unfortunately,
I just like poked your bruise.
Unfortunately,
I bet Tom isn't in any pain because he's been drinking from his flask all day. Oh man. Okay.
Well, all you find in your pockets while you try to help him are just some Kleenex and stuff, and so you try and daub the blood and stuff, but he's still bleeding quite profusely, and then on top of that, he's got like open cuts from rusted traps. So I think that maybe Tom needs to see a medical doctor.
I think maybe we should take Tom to the hospital like right now.
Unfortunately, the closest hospital is the community hospital in Appleford,
Okay,
which
well,
is
Which is two frickin' valleys over.
yeah, but it's only about a 40-minute drive.
okay, well, where's the closest doctor? In the village?
No, the community hospital in
All right, well,
Appleford.
we're just gonna have to go and
I
you know,
can't.
I would say get some of the clothes from the wardrobe and try to and just tear him up and try to bind his wounds and get him to the car.
I am dialing 999 or whatever you dial in England.
Your cell phone gets no reception.
Was there a phone in the house?
Well, he's not bleeding out.
Well, no, but he's bleeding all over the place. So I'm just gonna go get some clothes and tear him up and make some makeshift bandages and let's get him into the car and get to the hospital.
Okay, there is
While
no
Paul's doing that, I finish my flask.
there is no phone in the house to answer your question, Ellie.
Oh dear.
Okay, so you tear up some clothes and you bind Tom up and you
I'm
hoist
gonna
him up.
turn into a fucking were-rat in the car and eat you guys.
You
It's
hoist
gonna
him
be
up.
sweet.
You hoist him up between you and make your way through the courtyard back into the front garden, and you load him into the van. I assume you're driving a van.
Okay.
And so then you are going to drive him to the.
Engine's not gonna start.
No, it starts.
Oh,
And
it starts?
so you drive towards Appleford in order to see a physician at the community hospital there.
Okay.
And Jenny has to leave in 15 minutes.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
weirdly enough, I
Mhm.
think we're going to have to leave it at this point.
Okay.
Is anyone still
Hold
there?
on, let me talk to